Hi, Chris here. Can you handle the truth? I believe you can. Can you handle the wisdom of the original simplicity? I believe you can. We're going to read a little excerpt from a book titled The Original Simplicity in a second, but first, I'm just enjoying a little bit of tea in my Area 51 cup. And so this past weekend, we had a local meetup here in town where we live, Colorado Springs, and we call it Pause Your Life, like press the pause button. And we do a little bit of meditation, but then we also take an excerpt from a book and we read it and discuss it. So the excerpt that we read was called The Original Simplicity. And we're gonna read that in this video, but I have to tell you, this is a deep topic and a deep subject. So if I start reading it and you're not quite feeling it, because you got to be in the mood for like deep stuff, right? This is deep. So if you're not quite in the mood once I start reading it, then maybe just come back to it later, because you can't force yourself to read deep stuff when you're not ready to receive it. And this is the good example of an excerpt that when you read it, you can't just read it quickly and like understand it immediately. It doesn't work that way. You have to sort of read it slowly and contemplate it, because it's very deep and very rich in ideas. And yeah, so you get the idea. So, and I also want to stress this activity, reading a very deep excerpt from a book or a very deep book and contemplating it, that's one of the best things you can do for your spiritual growth and your mental growth, because we're not taught to do that when we're young. I mean, we're taught to read regular books, but not like deep books. I know some of us do. I always have. Starting in my early 20s, I should say. But this is how real growth happens in human beings. When you read this deep stuff and you don't understand it at first, but then you have to try to understand it, and then you discuss it with other people. That's like real growth. So that's why we love doing it at the meetup. So let's go ahead and let me share the screen. And here we go. The Original Simplicity. And I'll read it now. And oh, by the way, again, this is from the book All These Things Added by James Allen, 1903. Okay, so let's start out here. Life is simple. Being is simple. The universe is simple. Complexity arises in ignorance and self-delusion. The original simplicity of Lao-tze is a term expressive of the universe as it is, and not as it appears. Looking through the woven network of his own illusions, man sees interminable complication and unfathomable mystery, and so loses himself in the labyrinths of his own making. Let a man put away egotism, and he will see the universe in all the beauty of its pristine simplicity. Let him annihilate the delusion of the personal I, and he will destroy all the illusions which spring from that I. He will thus re-become a little child and will revert to original simplicity. When a man, by the way, when he says man, he means man and woman. It's just for simplicity, right? That he's saying man. When a man succeeds in entirely forgetting, annihilating his personal self, he becomes a mirror in which the universal reality is faultlessly reflected. He is awakened, and henceforward he lives not in dreams, but in realities. Pythagoras saw the universe in the 10 numbers, but even this simplicity may be further reduced and the universe ultimately be found to be contained in the number one. For all the numerals and all their infinite complications are but additions of the one. Let life cease to be lived as a fragmentary thing, and let it be lived as a perfect whole. The simplicity of the perfect will then be revealed. How shall the fragment comprehend the whole? Yet how simple that the whole should comprehend the fragment. How shall sin perceive holiness? Yet how plain that holiness should understand sin. He who would become the greater, let him abandon the lesser. In no form is the circle contained, but in the circle all forms are contained. In no color is the radiant light imprisoned, but in the radiant light all colors are embodied. Let a man destroy all the forms of self, and he shall apprehend the circle of perfection. Let him submerge in the silent depths of his being the varying colors of his thoughts and desires, and he shall be illuminated with the white light of divine knowledge. In the perfect chord of music, the single note, though forgotten, is indispensably contained, and the drop of water becomes of supreme usefulness by losing itself in the ocean. Sink thyself compassionately in the heart of humanity, and thou shalt reproduce the harmonies of heaven. Lose thyself in unlimited love toward all, and thou shalt work enduring works, and shalt become one with the eternal ocean of bliss. So yeah, now you see, you might want to rewind and listen again if you want to, but it's really just beautiful, talking about the self, basically talking about the ego and getting, diminishing your ego, and by diminishing your ego, you'll be able to perceive the whole. Very deep. In fact, one of my spiritual masters told us that there's only one impediment to spiritual growth, and that is the ego. And of course, in our day-to-day lives, we all have huge egos, and to some degree, you need your ego to function. But letting it get out of hand just destroys us. And you could see that's what's happening in society and everything. Whereas diminishing your ego is always the best, because then that brings you closer to divinity and spirituality. So, all right, well, I'm not going to go on much more about it. We had probably an hour-long discussion about this. There's so many points in here I could go through, but I just wanted to share this reading with you because it really is so nice. So let me know in the comments what you thought about this. Don't forget, we do 2 meditation live streams each week. There will be a link below with all the information. And of course, my school, Podcast Engineering School, where I teach people how to work from home and earn a great living producing podcasts for clients and stuff. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. I appreciate you being here. If you want to like and subscribe, feel free, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.